Good evening, Robert Scribbler filming south and east from Jeanette's Pier for an OBX wave report brief. Some 1 to 2 foot waves roll in off the North Atlantic Ocean. Hurricane Lee beginning to send out a swell, and you can see the angle of this swell coming in from the south and east. Swell expected to build throughout the evening and into tonight and into tomorrow. By tomorrow morning, up here in Nags Head, glassy 2 to 4 foot waves expected. Further south, bigger waves. And as you can see, gorgeous sky and ocean conditions with a thunderstorm to our south and east here, and looking down the coastline. It's just awe-inspiring. All right, so let's get into some of the local conditions for waves today according to our wave monitor buoy and model data. And right now at Nags Head, we've got 1 to 2 foot waves, clean conditions with an east-southeast swell at 0.8 feet and 17 seconds. Easterly winds very light at 2 miles per hour. Air temperatures around 80 degrees. Ocean water temperatures 71 degrees. Up in Virginia Beach right now, we've got 1 foot plus waves, semi-clean conditions. Down south in Rodanthe, we've got 2 to 3 foot waves, clean conditions. East-southeast swell at 1.3 foot and 15 seconds. Easterly winds also at 2 miles per hour. Air temperatures around 80 degrees. Ocean water temperatures 81. And at Buxton, also 2 to 3 foot waves, clean conditions. Southeast swell at 2.1 feet and 15 seconds. North-northeast winds at 1 mile per hour, 80 degree air temperatures. Ocean water temperatures 83. And last of all at Frisco, 2 foot waves, clean conditions. Okay, pulling in some data from the National Hurricane Center. We do have an update for you on Lee. Lee right now is a 110 mile per hour hurricane north of the Leeward Islands, heading west-northwest at 8 miles per hour. Lee has slowed down its forward speed and is expected to turn to the north. Lee has been suffering from some wind shear over the past couple of days, but strengthening is possible as wind shear may weaken and begin to affect the storm less. Nonetheless, the swell from Lee is arriving now in the Outer Banks at first as a small swell, which is expected to build throughout the evening, throughout tomorrow. And by Tuesday and Wednesday, we expect to see some very large waves, possibly in the range of 4 to as high as 8 or even 10 feet in some locations. Lee is going to be the major wave maker for the Outer Banks, as is expected to turn to the north between Bermuda and the U.S. East Coast, and as the main wave-making avenue for storms, and Lee is expected to follow right along it. All right, the next storm system that we are looking at is Margot. Margot is a 50 mile per hour max sustained winds tropical cyclone in the central subtropical Atlantic, moving to the north-northwest into the open water of the North Atlantic. This is expected to not affect any major land areas, just to be an open water storm. Okay, we also have 2 areas of interest according to the National Hurricane Center. One is a new disturbance in the eastern tropical Atlantic that is starting to gather some tropical characteristics. This system has just a 30% chance of developing into a tropical cyclone over the next 7 days, but does bear watching. And last of all, we do have a tropical wave that is starting to emerge from Africa. Once this thing gets out into the open waters of the North Atlantic, it has also a 30% chance of developing into a tropical cyclone. All right, so thank you for joining me for this Sunday, September 10th edition of the OBX Wave Report, as we look at the beautiful Atlantic Ocean. No surfers in the water at this time. That is going to change as wave conditions improve. In fact, like we've got a surfer heading out into the water now. Wave conditions expected to improve once again throughout the day and into tonight and tomorrow and over the next couple of days. All right, so thank you for joining me for this session of the OBX Wave Report. And as I always do, I'd like to ask you guys to please do everything you can to help protect our coastlines by speeding the transition to clean energy, which will help beat back the effects of climate change driven by fossil fuel burning. Main clean energy sources being wind, water, solar, electric vehicles, batteries, and efficiencies, which will help aid the deployment of clean energy. Clean energy can beat back the impacts of climate change driven by fossil fuel burning to our coastlines, being rising sea levels, more intense storms, ocean heat waves that harm our ocean environment and ocean health, and also ocean acidification that harms our coral reefs and our calcareous and shelled organisms. All right, so thank you for joining me once again. I hope you guys get into the water over the next few days as the waves are expected to continue to build and get better and better.